Hello, welcome to the Bronze Age Monsters bonus show. This is a show that we do for our loyal patrons. We make it every week. Matt and I. Matt does all the editing, makes it look all pretty, puts in clips, does all sorts of cool shit. But yeah, we make this for our patrons. We talk about a devil movie every week. We've been doing that all season. We've been loving it. We've been staying in the 70s. We roll a 30-sided die to choose from a list of films that we have made. Well, that the internet made, Matt. And
yeah.
it's and for the most part, it's been okay and accurate.
Yep.
Yeah. But we roll that 30-sided die. We let the Dark Lord flow through us to choose our movie. And this week, we got Nazareno, Cruz, and the Wolf. And it is from Argentina. It was directed by Leonardo Favio, and it's starring Juan Jose Camero. And it is, it's a werewolf movie. It's a Satan movie. It checks a lot of our boxes. It is very psychotronic. It is the definition in many ways. And this was a real perplexing film in a lot of ways. It's not a low budget film. There's there's really good cinematography, strange cinematography. Everything is like did you notice that every shot was like a spiral? Every shot was just like going around the subject. It was very strange. And but yeah, it's basically the story is that like a boy named Nazareno Cruz, he's the seventh son of a couple that's living in this mountain village. And we talked about this myth before when we were just talking about werewolves. The seventh son is going to become a wolf on nights of the full moon. And but this doesn't happen immediately. And so everyone's happy. Nazareno Cruz grows up. I think he's 20 years old. He falls in love with a beautiful girl named Griselda, and has definitely my favorite sequence of the movie is their falling in love sequence, which is
the Europop song.
Oh my God. So you know that song, right? It's soleado. It means sunny. And it was a worldwide hit everywhere but in the US, because it's so Eurovision and so great. And it's just like this we are all one like pop song. I had it in my head. I was listening to it today. It's you can find the version on Spotify that's on the soundtrack. You can find the soundtrack on vinyl as well. You can get it for pretty cheap, but it's all coming from Argentina, so you're going to be paying like $50 in shipping. But so the sequence that we're talking about has this amazing Europop song playing, and it's such a funny sequence because it's them like falling in love, kissing very strangely. Some of the strangest kissing I've ever seen in a film.
Yeah, I was wondering, Renee and I were both wondering, like, at some points, is she like mentally a 4-year-old?
Yeah.
Like, she seemed like she had a lobotomy or something like that. And she had like her frontal lobe replaced by bubble wrap. Like there's a sequence where they're kissing like in a river or like on the shore, and her mouth is just open. And he's just like trying to kiss her open, gaping mouth. Like, like a fucking guppy.
Yeah, it was so weird.
It was bizarre.
It's really funny. And yeah, they're on the shore. They're underwater. They are... my favorite was they're literally both lovingly riding on a plow that was pulled by horses. They're lovingly plowing.
Yeah.
It was... I don't know. And so, he meets the devil. Weirdest meeting of the devil of all time. Because they just start laughing. They laugh for an uncomfortable amount of time at something, which I couldn't figure out really what. So weird. And the devil looks super cool. Like he's just this cool looking like fucking gaucho guy. And oh my God. Yeah. This, I don't know. I love the beginning. The end was a little weird when he goes down to hell. I felt like this movie was two things to me, and then I'll let you take over. I felt like this was what would happen have you ever read those like Spanish language like digest comics that are on like the brown paper almost, and they're super spicy? Like a lot of them are romance comics, but there's also like horror in them too.
I don't think so.
I have a big collection of them. our friends Rick and Jackie, who we knew at the Twilight Rummage Sale in Portland. They're in this wonderful band called Smegma, and they would gift these things to them, to me and Alicia, and we love them, but they're weird. They're super weird, and the tone was very much like this movie.
Okay,
and it's also like if like this filmmaker, artist, writer who made this film, who directed it, it's like he saw El Topo and the Holy Mountain and it's just like, I can do something weird too. I totally can.
Yeah, I would say that's a really good touchstone. I immediately latched onto that.
Yeah,
it felt like trying to do a Jodorowsky fairy tale. Like it kind of felt definitely like the Company of Wolves meets El Topo. Mm-hmm. So this felt like very much like a fairy tale. Like it was a folk tale that was passed around. Like probably everyone knew it or was kind of familiar. And so he was kind of doing a cool treatment of it. And I had mixed feel. Honestly, any scene Griselda was in I didn't like. She freaked me out and she was weird. And
she's freaky.
I love the devil. I thought he was super charming. I think that this is ultimately a tragedy about the devil. Like his role in this thing and why he actually made this deal to Nazareno Cruz saying, you can either give up your true love and not be a werewolf. You can give up your true love and have mountains of gold and all the things you ever wanted.
Yep. Or
you can be a werewolf and cursed to turn into a beast and be a curse on something just fun in front of the thing again. I got it this time. To have this curse. And so he has to make that decision himself. And I loved when they went to hell and when it got abstract and strange and there's these little
awesome
little just set piece punishments just kind of in this giant warehouse. They just made this Hieronymus Bosch world out of like paper mache and plaster, and it was fucking crazy.
It was awesome.
I liked it probably more than you did, just because I like any kind of weird folklore stuff. So it just felt like, but it was so weird the way it was photographed. Like there were these scenes where I could not tell, are they doing a special effect or do they wait till there's like beautiful cumulus clouds, put a weird filter on the camera and just make it look like a Pink Floyd album cover? Like,
yeah. Well, that's how the movie opens. It's just on these like static, weird clouds through a filter. I did like this movie. I mean, it was strange in a lot of ways, but after I finished watching it, I was just like, "Whoa! I've never seen anything like that."
I've never seen anything like that, and I've seen a lot of psychotronic movies.
It was something I just had never expected. It was a completely unique viewing experience for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I thought it was a beautiful and tragic, sympathetic view of the devil. He was super charming, super handsome, and ultimately what he was asking and why he was tricking this poor bastard, this mortal to do was actually kind of sad in the end, like why he was doing it, his motivation. So I dug it. I think Renee said like halfway through, like I know much more about all these people's mouths than I would ever like to know. Like she says, there's a lot of tongue for a movie that's not a porn. Like,
oh man,
a lot of tongue. And and that when that Griselda kissing scene happened, I was like, okay, at this point I could identify her remains just based on the footage from this film.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I didn't like Griselda. There was some weird, it was oddly photographed. So this guy that made this was a pop star, a writer, an actor. He did everything. He directed films. I guess you were saying just before we rolled that this is like the second most popular film in Argentinian cinema. There were things where it's like, there'd be like that scene like I'm talking about where it's like the people are beating the bushes and looking for the wolf that killed a bunch of sheep and a couple dogs and a shepherd. And you'd have this scene, like I said, it looks like some kind of early 70s Pink Floyd album cover. It's like, how did they do that? That's the coolest shot ever, blah, blah. But then the next scene would be like Nazareno walking covered in blood after he turned back into a human. It's like, this looks like a TV. This looks like BBC. Like, is it mixed medium? Like, I didn't understand. It was so weird. Yeah, and it would be like these really high reaching, like Jodorowsky, El Topo, Holy Mountain things. And then would just be thrown down to like just a guy with a video camera, like in a mud hut, just like showing some old lady laugh and like not in a cool way. Like,
no,
it was just all over the place. But ultimately, I really thought it was worth watching. And I, like you said, I've never seen anything like it.
No, I mean, yeah, and that was cool. I mean, Matt, so many of the movies that we've watched this season, we've just been like, I guess that was a movie. It didn't really do anything for me either way. Yeah, I did not expect to have just a completely unique viewing experience.
Yeah.
And this was it. I can't compare it to anything. I mean, yeah, I think the touchstone is someone trying to do a Jodorowsky, Argentinian style. Yeah. And I would recommend people to watch this. So Matt, you said that it's on YouTube without subtitles, right?
Yeah. Correct. But I put an MKV video file, which has subtitles in it, but not burned in. So if you watch the MKV file that you can download from Patreon, you have to watch it like in VLC or some other video player where you have the option to go to captions. But we wanted to watch on the TV last night, and I realized I couldn't access those captions through my Blu-ray thumb drive player. So I had to come up here and burn an MP4 with the captions burned in. So I added that to Google Drive tonight.
Oh, cool.
So if you are a Patreon supporter and you're listening to this without having stolen it, you have access to the bonus show for this week. And I will already access to Patreon in general. And I'll go post both of those. But yeah, check it out. If it's an hour and 24 minutes, it's unlike anything I've ever seen. I'm sure it would try somebody's patience if you only like Fast and Furious or whatever. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't like world cinema, this is going to seem really fucking weird. I've seen a lot of movies from around the world and a lot of weird movies, and I still thought it was weird. So, and that's not an insult. It's a compliment.
No, it was a total compliment.
Yeah, I thought it was moving. There were some beautiful parts. It was very poetic. It felt like paintings come to life at times, but not in a stuffy way, in like a raw, like Jackson Pollock-y way or something like that, where it's just kind of like creative, just explosion of stuff and just trying things that are often beyond your grasp creatively. But ultimately, it's just like it felt like a Hieronymus Bosch painting meets Grimm's fairy tale or something from South America, like with magic realism, like Gabriel Garcia Lopez. I think, is that the author's name? Magic realist. And some of that felt like it was coming through too, where it's just kind of like reality, magic, whatever. They're all kind of mixed up, aren't they? Like,
yeah.
So yeah, for me, claw for sure.
Claw for me too. Yeah, I loved it.
I thought about it the rest of the night. It totally stuck with me, which is a huge mark because in our information age, I can turn a movie off and pick up my phone and watch a video on Twitter and then turn around and put YouTube on and watch something there and completely forget about something if it didn't move me. That stuck with me since I watched it 24 hours ago. So,
oh yeah. So is it my roll, Matt?
It is your roll.
Okay.
I got the list here.
All right.
And I'm thinking we're probably going into some Jeopardy. We got, I'd say, about 12 left on the master list here without going into the sub-basement of the Infernal Realms.
Okay, so that is 17.
17? Ooh, okay. That's Asylum of Satan. And that is, I believe that's a William Girdler film. And he's a director that I'm quite a fan of. Yeah, that's William Girdler from 1972.
Cool.
Wow, it's a weird one. It's
right.
It's something. And I like William Girdler. I think you've probably seen some of his stuff. He did, I think, Grizzly. Oh, did you see that Exorcist ripoff, Abby, the blaxploitation Exorcist?
No.
Okay, we watched it early on in That's Cool, That's Trash. He also did The Manitou, the one about the Native American shaman spirit growing out of the woman's back. He did Day of the Animals, when all the animals like started attacking people. 3 on a Meat Hook, Sheba Baby with Pam Grier. He did a lot of African American stuff, even though he was a white guy. And I said Grizzly, right?
Yeah, you said Grizzly.
He is actually one of my favorite exploitation directors. He died, I think, in a helicopter wreck, pretty young. So we lost him early, but he made some really fun stuff in the 70s.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this movie again. I saw it at Hollywood Theater, and it was it's crazy. Cool. I'm not sure if we're doing a watch along or not. We are traveling to a friend's event this weekend, but keep your eyes peeled on Discord or Twitter. I post on Twitter and Instagram and Patreon, of course.
Yeah.
So we'll sort that out. All right, we're going to keep it short this week because we've been doing long episodes, and the intent is always to be 20 to 25 minutes, and then get up to like 40 to 45. So,
yep. And that's
we
normally
keep
me.
it short this time, but I do have something to talk about next time.
Awesome.
Okay.
No, it's great. I have my cat here. I'm giving her a rest. She has not been like wanting to sit up near me for the last couple shows, but she did this time, and I'm not gonna pick her up and make her say "Hail Satan." I'm gonna
You can just do it mentally.
Yeah. 3 p.m. telepathically hailing Satan with you. He's very sweet. So yeah, until we meet again, hail Satan.
Hey, hail that Satan.
Oh.
That's the bonus show. Oh, jinx.
Oh.
You owe me some adrenochrome.
Yep.
Woo!